We are just getting ready to go live. I think we're ready more or less. And here we go. Oh, sorry, we're nearly there, but we're not there. We'll be there any second, people. Any moment. Are we there? Are we there? I think we're there. I think we're there. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Just gonna read through a little bit of legal stuff and then we'll go straight in. So I just hope you guys have a little bit of common sense. If you're playing this in a classroom full of kids or something, that's fine, it's open source. But listen, you're gonna have to just check it out before, because I do curse sometimes I just go off in a random rant and so on, okay? So I'm gonna try and stick to the schedule. You know, this is a guitar lesson. I think it's guitar lesson maybe 11 or something. So, yeah, you have to be over 50 years old for legal reasons to listen to this visually or otherwise. Vegan Steven podcast, party of a podcast. Vegan Steven is a fictional character. All guests are allegedly fictional characters in the show. Events in the show, even those based on real people, are entirely fictional. All celebrity voices are impersonated poorly. The following program contains coarse language and due to its content should not be viewed by anyone. That's right, it's Vegan Steven, the king of consistency here. Check out all the things for what's it called, Patreon. Vegan Steven clothing line available. You can buy all the things you want there, all the presents, all the gifts. Creating a music line if you want to think about buying a guitar or whatever, and you want something you can trust. You can order a Vegan Steven instrument directly to your door with 100 hours free music lessons. Right here. Alright, so let's get into the meat and bones and stuff. So for all you listeners who aren't watching the video version, the video you can reference a screenshot of this video if you want, or whatever, just for the image on the screen, and I'm sure you guys are well capable to zoom in and focus on your phones. So I'm just gonna go through all the things here. We have the blues format, okay? Now we have the blues format represented in two ways. First of all, with the blues format represented in kind of a short, classical kind of shorthandy form, which we've been doing for the last few weeks. And you know, it just goes A D A A D D A A E D A E, and hopefully that's drilled into your head by now. But if it's not, sure, don't worry about it. Now that translates into into Roman numerals as 1 1 1. What? This doesn't even look right. What is even happening? 1 4. Okay, my this is pretty funny. My two sheets of paper, which are both called, you know, the standard 12-bar blues form, contradict each other. So that's pretty funny. In one it says for the first 4 bars you stay on the tonic, or one of the scale, and the other one it says you go the tonic for the first 2 and then you go to the, I think it's subdominant, which is the 4th. Oh my word! So we'll have to find out which one's the right one. I think it's the one where you stay on the tonic for the first few bars. Because I always thought that was the other one was kind of. I kept messing it up. I was like, why am I messing this up? So this, we're gonna keep moving. Also on the screen today we have the keyboard. All right, your basic kind of keyboard on the piano, because that's such a visually pleasing way to learn music theory, is just visualizing a piano. So try to just remember the black keys. So you got a cluster of 3 black keys and a cluster of 2 black keys there, okay? And they're really good reference points. And if you follow the white keys by name, it goes just use the musical alphabet, which once again is just like A to G and back again in a circular motion. It moves the same forward and backwards, and sometimes there's a sharp on there. And you'll know, if you visualize that keyboard in your mind, you'll notice that there's no black key between E and F, there's no black key between B and C. Alright, if you have that visual reference point. Oh baby, you're looking well today. Okay, we got an A chord here, we got a D chord. Sure, maybe you guys have tuned up beforehand, but we'll just tighten it up. So we have the little keyboard here. So I've got to bring my own E note up a little bit. Okay, onto A. Where's my machine heads, just so you can see what I'm doing here. And now we're on to so I'm dealing in cents here, which are, there's 50 cents in a semitone. We're not talking about euros. We're talking about microtones. In some cultures, such as Asian culture, they, some parts of Asia or whatever, they actually play, they don't just have the semitones, which are, you know, frets. They have kind of like in between frets, in between notes, so they would play all, I'll do for now anyway. So, you see the way here, there's one note, how do I explain this? There's one note, right? There's, okay, let's go from this B string, okay? We're hitting the open B string. Now if we put our finger on the first fret of that B string, that becomes C, alright? So we got our open B string and C's. Now a microtone is all the notes in between this note and this note, okay? So that's what we'll touch on it again, no worries. Alright. Alright, so we got some nice stuff on the screen there, which we'll be talking about for the next lesson or two. That's pretty cool. So I just got up some extra references here to go over all the parts of the guitar. So I think we're doing pretty well, you know. I've been going over all the parts of the guitar, and I feel you guys probably have a good idea of what all the parts of the guitar are called. So that's good. So we have an acoustic guitar. We got the, alright, we got the head. That's up the top there. The nut. The nut is where the end of the neck meets the headstock there. There's the strings run through a nut, which adjusts the height of the strings and how high they run over the fretboard. Okay, we got the strings, we got 6 strings there, and we all know our string names are like big E, A, G, D, E, B. I read that wrong. We got big E, where are we? Big E, A, D, G, B, E. Okay, so there we are. This big hole that all the sound comes out of is a sound hole. I have something here called the rostle, which is R-O-S-E-T-T-L-E, rostle, which is the design that is sometimes around the sound hole. We have the sides, which are if you think of the body on the guitar, they are the bits which connect the front and back guitar, I guess. Let's see, we have the pick guard, so that's just below the sound hole normally. But it's on the body, it's below the sound hole, and that just protects the body from the wear and tear of having a pick guard scraping up and down a piece of wood, okay? Because it's just a piece of wood. And some famous guitarists, such as the Irish musician Glenn Hansard, all praise Glenn Hansard, has a good film called Once, and many other, bit of a legacy. In one of his guitars, which he was busking on the Irish streets, it has a big massive hole where the pickguard was, because he didn't have a pickguard on his guitar. I'm sure there's more stories behind that as well. Alright, so we got the sides, we got the pickguard, we got the bridge. I keep asking you guys, where's the bridge? It's the part of the body where the strings come out of. We got the saddle. Oh, hang on. The saddle, what part's this now? Okay, so the saddle is the white bit here. Okay, so there's the nut is made out of a particular material. So once again, the nut is the where the strings run across towards the headstock. Now, where the strings run into the body and they bend, that's where the curvature happens. That is called the saddle. So the saddle is normally a piece of plastic or bone which is put into the bridge. Okay. Now that can be adjusted, and that changes the height of the string from the fretboard. Okay, so it's always a constant battle. That's called not the intonation. That is called the gauge. Action. That's called action. Okay, the action on a guitar. I was just going through my Rolodex of guitar words there. The action on a guitar is how far away the strings are from the fretboard. Okay, so how far these big strings are away from the fretboard. Now, how does that affect you? That affects you because if your strings are too close to the fretboard, it's going to be very, very easy to play, but there's going to be a lot of rattling and stuff like that. That's kind of a stereotype of low action. The other extreme stereotype is when the strings are way too high and you nearly need your whole hand to pull down the strings to play one note, because the strings are so far away from the fretboard. You need to pull them down every single note, and it requires so much energy just to finger one note that almost doing a chord is just out of the question. You can only really do single notes. That would be another stereotype of action that is too high. So we got, yeah, so if you were looking to change your action on an acoustic guitar, your options would be to adjust the thrust rod, which adjusts the amount of bow in the actual guitar neck, which we have talked about, because the wood expands and contracts and expands. The wood gets bigger and smaller depending on the weather and the heat conditions and so on. Whoa! That's why it's not recommended you leave your guitar, in your attic and stuff like that, because the acoustic guitars are just glued together. It's just wood and glue, so the heat can melt the glue, and then you'll just have a big load of wood, and because the glue will just become undone. It's like sellotape, do you know what I mean? So if it's in a hot temperature, the wood can melt and you just have a big load of shite instead of where you once had a guitar. And if you wanted to fix it, it'd be an absolute mess. You can do it, but you're better off just buying a new one. It's a messy job to fix. Anyway, on we go. We got the saddle, so we talked about that. The saddle is the white bit of plastic or bone which has been sanded down to change the action, and also the intonation. Now the intonation is how consistently the string is in tune across the fretboard, okay? So normally if you hit an open string and hit a string on the 12th fret, like I'm doing now, this little E, so I'm just going to sing that interval as one octave. Jeepers. Somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow, one octave lower, somewhere. Okay, so that's the E string there, the open E string. And why did I do that? I did that to demonstrate the intonation, okay? Because if your guitar does not have intonation, every guitar has intonation, but okay, we're getting to that. This note right here, so we got this is how you tell how good your guitar's intonation is. You hit the open string, and that's whatever note you tuned it to, okay? Now, and then I do the harmonic, and that's the same, isn't it? That's one octave up. Somewhere. I'm gonna stop singing. Alright, so that's an octave, and that's in tune, isn't it, with itself? Now, if I introduce the fretted 12th fret, that is generally it's going to be slightly flat or sharp of that harmonic. So that harmonic is actually the true note that we are ideally looking for, but depending on how the neck is, the bowing of the neck will change the points of the two nodal points, which is the saddle and the nut. And also, if you want to make micro adjustments to pull the distance, make the distance bigger and smaller between the two, because the string is just spinning around. If you hit that A string, the string is spinning between the bridge and the saddle and the nut. Is spinning around in a circle 440 times per second, okay? And that's what something sounds like when it's spinning or cycling at 440 times per second. Now if I lower the pitch of that, it won't be spinning. It might be spinning out 4,432 hertz. There's a whole conspiracy theory about that, which we won't get into. Alright, so we have our open A string. So back to intonation, right? So you hit your open A string there, and you can tell how in tune the guitar is with itself, alright, by what I'm about to do now. So I'm going to fret that 12th fret. Here, let's find out. And here's what the guitar sounds like fretted. That's the note it should be. What's it actually sound like though? Possibly a hair flat. So in that case, I would need to file back. I'd need to make get out the old file and have a go at the old bridge in an ideal world. If it was really bothering me, or whatever. Life still goes on. All right, let's keep trying the other ones. We got E, and then we have the harmonic. Okay, let's fret it and find out. So. To me, I'm finding it's very subtle. I think maybe the fretted note is slightly flat. So that's the harmonic. They almost sound the same to me. I think that's the same. I couldn't really tell. And the other thing is, depending on what object you hit the string with, it'll change the harmonic content of it, which is another fucking mind-blowing thing. Like if you hit it with your thumb, it's gonna dull the higher frequencies and amplify the lower frequencies below 1K. 1 hertz. 1000 hertz. Sorry. If I hit it with a plec, it's gonna emphasize a massive quick attack up in the high end frequencies above, like, you know. It's going to spike up. You're talking 8K, it's going to spike up around 8K or 6K or whatever, then quickly come down, and the resonance is going to shoot down and come back up, and boing. It's going to have the harmonic content is going to have a quick filtering effect, and a sharp attack and a long sustain or whatever. I don't know. That's getting into all sorts of how to develop sound waves and acoustics. We won't get into that right now. Alright, so that is how you tell how in tune the guitar is with itself. And you'll drive yourself nuts trying to tell, is that flat, is that sharp? So ideally what you do is, if you can't tell, that's a good sign. That means it won't bother you. It might bother me if I hear it, but it won't bother you, so that's good. So you get a little tuner. This is how you check your intonation. You get a little tuner, and there's a dial that goes 50 cents this flat, 50 cents sharp, and then when it's at 0 cents or whatever it is, it's bang on. Alright, so if it's slightly flat, if the fretted note is slightly flat, so sorry, you tune your guitar with the tuner, so it's in tune, the harmonic's in tune, the open A string is in tune, and so on. Okay, now what you do is, so it's perfectly in tune, you hit the fretted note of the 12th fret harmonic, you hit the 12th note on the A, and you'll notice if it goes flat or if it goes sharp, and that's the intonation of the guitar. Is the intonation generally flat or sharp or whatever? Alright? It's nearly always not right. On my instruments I generally always modify them so that they're bang on. So yes, I heavily modify my own personal instruments just because I'm an absolute snob. But because something's not like bang on, it drives me nuts. Like an out-tuned note can trigger my gag reflex. That's how sensitive my ears are. Okay, so this dot right here at the end is called the end pin. Shock. Just gotta make sure my pants are right there. Sorry. Wardrobe malfunction. So this part here is for my audio listeners, the end pin is where the strap pin goes on at the bottom of the body there. We have the top, the binding. Now what is the binding? The binding is it's not really on vegan Steven guitars, but it's on, it connects the sides and the top of the body and the back of the body. So on those corners, think of it as the skirting board in a house. So skirting board connects the wall to the floor. There's a little piece of wood that goes on, just covers the gap down in a household normally, and that in guitar world is called the binding. And if it's a very expensive guitar, it might have like sparkly binding or something like that. Okay, it's kind of like it's like having like nice seats in your car. It's like it's kind of like an accessory kind of. You don't. It's the guitar sounds the same more or less, but it's a visual thing, because people don't really know anything about guitars. The people buy guitars with their eyes. They're like, I like the paint. That must be a great guitar because that's pink and that's my favourite colour. And then you see another guitar that's like snot green and it costs 20,000 million euro, and you're like, oh, that's a crap guitar. Why would it cost so much? Because the people don't have the aural intelligence developed, or whatever. How do I say that politely? Oh, because they haven't developed their personal ear and so on. They can't. All they can do is visually do it. Do you know what I mean? Because their visual intelligence outweighs their other intelligences. Generally, that's the way as humans work. You got your kinesthetic way of interaction with the world, which is your touch. Your hear, which is aural, I think. I can't remember the right words. Comment below. And your visual. And generally, most humans are on the visually is their number one sense of interacting with the outside world. So that's why you can get pop stars that are really shit, because if they look really well, people will be like, oh, they must be really good, and everyone else likes them. I don't know how to know music, but everyone else likes it, so this must be good music. I don't know. That's kind of how pop music works, and so on. But that's why things have to be so look orientated, because people get so hung up on the looks. They get distracted by the looks because it's much quicker and easier to process things on looks. It takes a lot more thought to process things through other means and so on. Alright, so we got the neck, we got the nut, we all know what those are. Alright, we got the pickguard, lovely. We got the headstock, we got the tuning keys, we got the nut, we got the fret. I think we all know what these are. Fretboard. Position marker. Okay, so I call these inlays, but here it's calling them position markers. Okay, so what's a position marker on the guitar? On the 12th fret, generally there's a double dot, a 2 dot. Okay, and that means it's 12th fret. It's halfway between the nut and the saddle. That has that lovely harmonic there. If you want to play your harmonic, you just lightly put the pad of your finger on top of the string without even pressing down. It's a very subtle action or whatever, and then you pluck the string at the other end from back here. So here's an example. So I lightly have my finger just barely touching on top of the string, and then I'm going to pluck this end of the string close to the bridge, and it sounds like this. Okay, here's the B, here's the G. It really confused me how you do it, and you will be able to do it in time. But that's the motion there. That's if you want it to sustain. If you just want to have it muted, just keep your finger on it. If you want to sustain, you gotta take your finger off. Get some obscure ones in between the frets and so on. Anyway, stay focused. Alright, we got the sound hole, we talked about that. Sorry. Position markers. Position markers, you got your double, tell you where you are, a quick reference on the guitar. So the first one, position marker, is normally on the 3rd fret. On this guitar, however, it's on the 5th. Alright, and you also have an inlay or position marker just on top of the fretboard. So you can tell what fret you're on by looking down from above. So you don't have to be looking at it holding up in your hands and looking down at it. Alright. Yeah, and the better you get, you'll never have to look at the guitar. You know just by the feet, you can just tell. I don't even know, it's just because it's like you don't have to look at your feet when you're walking. It's like you know it inside out, and that's what guitar will become like when you put all those hours in. Think about all those hours you practice walking, all those falls you had. You gotta do that same with guitar or anything you want to get good at, whether it's business, asking lads out, eating apples. Eating apple took a lot of practice, like you couldn't do when you were born. Wow. Alright, here we go. Pickup selector, that's it, do it something else. And the Y bar in the bridge. And all the things. Alright, so we're going to talk about this musical alphabet. So inlays, just as I finished there. Normally you have one on the 7th fret, a single dot, 9th fret, single dot, double dot on the 12th fret. They just tell you where our position markers are inlays, and then you can see them also from above if you're standing up and wish to look down. Okay. So we're running out of time as usual. We don't have very long to teach the lesson today. So I'm going to go through the bottom of the screen here. So this is the musical alphabet as regards in the key of A. So it's an A major chord scale. So I'll just we'll play this in another few lessons or whatever. If not in this key, in a different key. Okay? So we've got A, B minor, C minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor, C, G sharp minor, no sorry, D sharp diminished, A major 1 octave up and descending. Jeez, what chord am I on? Chord 1 major, G sharp diminished, which is chord 7, going on to my relative minor, which is F sharp minor, going down to my number 5, which is E. Try to say what I'm saying before me if you know it. What's chord 4? I'm going down to chord 4. This is a D major. Down 1 semitone to C sharp minor. Down 2 semitones to B minor. And we're finally back on that A. Alright, let's go through. So yeah, here's what it sounds like me. Alright, sorry. So a bit faster. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I'll go through I'll teach you all this in time. I'm just getting you familiar with the language and just so you hear what these things sound like. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now using chords and chord scales, which we'll be looking into over the next little while, it sounds like this. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, re, mi, do. That's called solfa. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, re, mi, do, and so on. Don't worry about it. I'm just getting you familiar with little bits, and it'll all sink in, alright? Over time. So we're finishing up with our A7 chords. We're learning those. We're learning our A chords. I hope that's going well. We got your string names there. We're learning those. We got all those parts of the body there. That's going well. And chord scales. So once more, this is a major scale. This is what major scale sounds like. Okay. Here it is using chords. Whoop! The sun was in my eyes there. Alright. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, do. We'll learn all our second 7 octave A major scale madness things in time, and I'll show you all how to play all the notes all over the A, and and so on. I can just keep going all day long playing A's all over the guitar neck and so on. But we gotta start at the start, because if you don't fucking know how to fucking walk, you're gonna be falling every time you try to run. When I first got the guitar, I was like, fucking brilliant. Gonna get electric guitar, everyone's gonna think I'm really cool. Fucking girls will like me. People would be coming up to me and saying, oh, you're that lad who plays guitar. And I'd be like, I am. And what happened? That all became true. But it took a lot longer than I thought it would take. It took a lot longer than I thought it would take. So, all I'm trying to say to you in a long-winded way is, when I first got the guitar, I was like, I'll just learn all these little things like, and a bit of, you know, all that mad shit, alright? But none of that really matters, honestly. It's just like wearing a flashy coat or wearing a bit of jewellery that no one cares about, you know what I mean? Once you can play your chords, your 1, 4 and 5 in time, alright, and listen to the people around you, and just learn how to have a good time playing with other people or whatever, and learn how to enjoy life. It's just such a nice thing to have an instrument, because if you're feeling like you need a distraction or something, you can play an instrument. If you fucking want to have another bitch, you can play in a guitar and just be like, my dog never listens to me, she just washes her paws. Oh Lord, my dog never listens to me, or whatever. Alright, you just have another bitch. You can invite your friends round. The two of you can just have another sing about giving out about your boss or whatever, having a beer, whatever you're into. People always love it when people just love singing. People just love it. For example, if you're an Irish lad, you can play a rebel song, a song that your granddads used to sing or something, and you just need 3 chords or something, and everyone will be like, hey, that's that song our grandfathers used to sing. It's just people like music. It's good. It's good for a load of things. It helps you learn other languages. It's just very good. It's soothing. There's I'll finish on this, right? Kirk, what's his name? That singer from Metallica, James Hetfield, singer of Metallica. Did some great things in his life, did some bad things, but I'm a big fan of him anyway. I'm not so much a fan of Metallica, but I love them. Like, I love watching their documentaries and hearing all them quote about stuff, but their music isn't really for me. Like, I wouldn't listen to it all day. It's not my kind of thing. But that doesn't matter. I respect them as people, and I really like. I've used them as references in my life and decisions I've made. So, but what's his name? James Hetfield, right? He's married with kids and all that crack, right? And he was saying that sometimes his wife will say, go play guitar. Oh gosh, you're moody today. Go play guitar, and stuff like that, because it's some kind of release for him to play guitar. He's able to get all his anger out, or else like have a think about or whatever, or just take his mind off something. And his wife seems to realise, because she understands him, she's able to say, you need to relax and play your instrument now, because it's not, whatever you're doing right now is not helping anyone. So maybe you should just chill out and enjoy yourself there. And then he plays his guitar, he comes back and he's able to be like a good dad or whatever, because he looked after his own head. I don't know how it works. I'm just guessing how it works. But sure, it can't hurt strumming a guitar, can it? And I said, you don't need spending money on it. Even if you just listen to this and learn how to clap or whatever, it'll help you in the nightclub. All the things. So that's your lot. I'm gonna go, and I'll see you next time.